What if I told you that the biggest disability isn't in your body, but in your mind? Meet Michael, 28 years old, confined to a wheelchair after a car accident 3 years ago. He lost the use of his legs, but that's not what almost destroyed him. What almost destroyed him was losing hope, losing belief, losing the will to see tomorrow as anything different from today. You see, 90% of people who face a major life crisis like Michael's never fully recover. Not because they can't, but because they won't. They let one bad chapter define the entire book of their life. They build walls around themselves made of excuses, fear, and what-ifs. But Michael, he discovered something that changed everything. Something so simple yet so powerful that it transformed his entire existence. And by the end of this story, you'll discover it too. Because here's the truth. Your life isn't shaped by what happens to you. It's shaped by how you see what happens to you. 3 years ago, Michael was a delivery driver. He loved his job, the open road, the freedom, the wind against his face as he rode his motorcycle through the city streets. He had dreams, big dreams. He wanted to start his own logistics company. He'd saved money, made plans. Life was moving forward. Then came that rainy Tuesday evening. A truck, a wet road, a moment of lost control, and everything changed in seconds. When Michael woke up in the hospital, the doctors gave him the news. His spine was injured. He would never walk again. At 25, his life as he knew it was over. The first year was dark, really dark. Michael sat in his small apartment, staring at the walls. His savings ran out. His friends stopped visiting. Too busy, they said, but he knew the truth. They didn't know what to say to him anymore. He wasn't fun Michael anymore. He was disabled Michael, different, broken. His mother cooked his meals. His younger sister Emma helped him with basic tasks. He hated it. He hated needing help. He hated the pity in people's eyes. He hated waking up every morning to the same empty day ahead. Why me? He asked himself 1,000 times. What did I do to deserve this? His room became his prison. The wheelchair became his identity. Every morning he woke up angry. Angry at the drunk driver who hit him. Angry at God. Angry at life. Angry at himself for surviving. He scrolled through social media, watching his old friends live their lives. Promotions, marriages, vacations, adventures, everything he would never have. Each post was a reminder of what he'd lost. Each photo was proof that life moved on without him. Depression wrapped around him like a heavy blanket. Days blurred into weeks, weeks into months. He stopped answering his phone, stopped trying. What was the point? I can't do anything, he told his mother one night. I'm useless. A burden. Maybe it would have been better if I hadn't survived. His mother's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't argue. She just held his hand. That night, Michael made a decision, not to end his life, but to stop living. There's a difference. He would exist but not participate, survive but not thrive. He would just be there, a ghost in his own life. For 6 more months, that's exactly what he did. One afternoon, Emma brought home a book from the library. She didn't say much, just left it on his bedside table. Thought you might like it, she said quietly. Michael ignored it for 3 days, but boredom is a powerful force. On the 4th day, with nothing else to do, he picked it up. It was a biography. A man born without arms had become a motivational speaker, traveled the world, learned to paint with his feet, got married, had children. The man's name was Nick Vujicic. Michael read one chapter, then another. Then he couldn't stop. One line hit him like lightning. It's not about what you don't have. It's about what you do with what you have. He closed the book, sat there in silence. For the first time in 18 months, a different thought entered his mind. Not why me, but what now? That night he couldn't sleep. His mind was racing. This man had no arms, no legs, yet he traveled the world, built a life full of purpose and joy. And Michael? He had his arms, his mind, his voice. What was his excuse? But the voice of doubt was loud. very loud. "That's different," it whispered. "He was born that way. You had everything and lost it. That pain is worse." Easy for him to say. He probably has money, support. You have nothing. What can you even do? You're nobody. You're stuck in this chair forever. The battle raged for days. Part of him wanted to believe things could change. Part of him was terrified to hope again. Hope had hurt him before, when he'd hoped to walk again, when he'd hoped his friends would stay, when he'd hoped his old life would return. Every hope had been crushed. What if he tried and failed again? Wouldn't that be worse than not trying at all? He looked at his wheelchair. For 18 months, he'd seen it as a cage, a symbol of everything he'd lost. But what if he saw it differently? His hands shook as he opened his laptop. For the first time in over a year, he searched for something other than his accident or his condition. He searched success stories wheelchair users. The results flooded in. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, scientists, activists, people who'd built extraordinary lives. Not despite their wheelchairs, but with them. One video showed a man doing backflips in a wheelchair. Backflips. Michael watched it 15 times. Another article profiled a woman who started a successful online business from her bedroom. She used her wheelchair. She also used her brain. Something shifted inside him. Small, fragile, but real. "What if I tried?" he whispered to himself one morning. "What if I just tried?" The first step was terrifying. Michael decided to learn something new. Anything, just to prove to himself he still could. He'd always been interested in graphic design, so he found free courses online, started watching tutorials. His first designs were terrible, really terrible, but he kept going. Week 1, he learned basic tools. Week 2, he created his first logo. It looked like a child made it. Week 3, he made 10 more. They got slightly better. People online gave feedback. Most of it was critical. "Needs work," they said. Not professional quality. The old Michael would have quit. Would have said, "See? I told you I can't do this." But something had changed. Each criticism became a lesson. Each failure became practice. 2 months in, he created something good. Actually good. He posted it on a freelance website. Offered to do it cheap, just to see if anyone would hire him. Someone did. $50 for a small project. When that payment came through, Michael cried. Not because of the money, because someone valued what he created. Someone needed him. He took on more projects. Slowly, his skills grew. His portfolio expanded. His confidence rebuilt itself, brick by brick. 6 months after picking up that book, Michael made more money from design work than he'd ever made as a delivery driver. But money wasn't the real change. The real change was inside. He stopped seeing himself as disabled. He started seeing himself as capable. Different, yes, but not less. He started going outside again. Found a gym that specialized in adaptive fitness. Made new friends who also used wheelchairs. They didn't pity each other. They pushed each other, competed, laughed, lived. A year later, Michael started a YouTube channel. He shared his design tutorials, talked about his journey. His story resonated. People reached out. People who were struggling. People who'd lost hope. He realized something profound. His accident hadn't taken his purpose. It had revealed it. Today, Michael runs a successful design agency. He employs 5 people. 3 of them work remotely because they also have disabilities. He doesn't see this as charity. He sees it as recognizing talent. He speaks at schools and events, not as a victim sharing a sob story, but as a businessman sharing a success story. Last month, he bought his mother a house. The woman who'd never given up on him, even when he'd given up on himself. His old friends, some came back, apologized for disappearing. He forgave them. Others never returned. That's okay too. He'd built a new circle. People who saw him, not his wheelchair. Same guy, same wheelchair, but everything changed. He still wakes up in that wheelchair every morning. That hasn't changed. That will never change. But how he sees that wheelchair, how he sees himself, how he sees his future. That changed completely. Recently, someone asked him, "If you could go back and prevent the accident, would you?" He thought about it, really thought about it. Then he said something that shocked everyone, including himself. "I don't know, because that accident, as horrible as it was, woke me up. It forced me to discover strength I never knew I had. It led me to a life more meaningful than the one I was living before. Would I choose this path? No. But would I undo everything I've become? I honestly don't know." He wasn't glad for the accident, but he was proud of who he'd become because of it. That's the difference. That's the power of mindset. From Michael's story, we learn a truth that applies to all of us. Life doesn't ask our permission before it changes. Plans fall apart. Dreams get crushed. We all face moments where we think, "This is it. This is the end." But here's what Michael discovered. The end of one chapter doesn't mean the end of the book. It just means it's time to write a new chapter. Your circumstances don't define you. Your response to them does. A wheelchair didn't make Michael disabled. His mindset did. And a wheelchair didn't make him successful either. His new mindset did. This isn't just about physical disabilities. It's about every limitation we face. Financial struggles, failed relationships, lost opportunities, health problems, rejections, setbacks. We all have our wheelchairs, the things that happen to us that we can't change. The question isn't whether you have them. The question is, what are you doing with what you have left? Because here's the beautiful truth. You always have something left. Always. As long as you're breathing, you have your mind, your choices, your ability to see things differently, your power to try again. Change your mindset and you change your world. Not the external world necessarily, but your internal world. And that's where life is really lived anyway. Now let's talk about you. Maybe you're not in a wheelchair, but I bet you're carrying something heavy, something that happened, something you lost, something you think makes you less than others. I know you might be thinking, but my situation is different. My problems are real. Changing my mindset won't change my reality. You're right. Changing your mindset won't change your past, won't erase what happened, won't magically fix everything overnight, but it will change how you face tomorrow. And that changes everything. Here's what you can start doing right now. First, stop the comparison trap. Log off social media if you need to. Stop measuring your chapter 3 against someone else's chapter 20. Michael spent months torturing himself watching other people's highlight reels. It only made things worse. Your journey is yours. Focus on it. Second, find your book moment. What's one thing? A book, video, conversation, or idea that could shift your perspective. Michael found that biography by accident. You might find yours in a podcast, a documentary, a conversation with someone who's been where you are. Seek it out. Be open to it. Third, do one small thing differently today. Not tomorrow, today. Michael started with one online course. What's your one thing? One job application? One conversation with someone new? 1 hour learning a new skill? Start small, but start. Fourth, give yourself permission to be bad at first. Michael's first designs were awful. He didn't let that stop him. Whatever you try, you'll probably be bad at it initially. That's okay. That's normal. That's part of growth. Keep going anyway. Before you sleep tonight, write down one thing you're grateful for that you still have. One ability, one relationship, one opportunity, one strength, just one. Then write down one tiny action you'll take tomorrow to use that thing. Not a big plan, not a complete transformation, just one small step. In the next 7 days, commit to trying something new. Anything. Take a different route to work. Learn 3 words in a new language. Cook a recipe you've never tried. Message someone you've been meaning to reconnect with. Small actions build momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence changes mindset. Mindset changes life. Remember, Michael didn't wake up one day suddenly successful. He woke up one day and decided to try. That's all. Just try. Then he tried again the next day. And the next. Your wheelchair might be visible or invisible, physical or emotional, past or present, but it doesn't have to be permanent. Not as your identity. You are not your struggle. You are not your setback. You are not your limitation. You are what you do with what you have. You are what you choose next. You are your resilience, your courage, your ability to see differently. Change your mindset and watch your life follow. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. The best chapters, they're still unwritten. So pick up the pen and write.